Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive hidden trap that is consistently causing experienced professionals to fail the PSM I exam. You know, if you're prepping for your professional Scrum Master certification, you probably think you've got a massive head start because, well, you've been working in agile environments for years. But today, we're going to look at why that real-world experience might actually be the exact thing standing between you and a passing score. Okay, let's dive right in. Because how you answer this one single question, it literally determines whether you pass or fail. I want you to really honestly ask yourself, when you look at a practice scenario, does your brain immediately go to how your current team handles a sprint review? Or does it go to the literal, specific text of the official framework? Getting this distinction right is absolutely crucial. So here is our roadmap to unlearning those bad habits and passing the test without spending a dime. We'll hit the PSM I experience trap, Scrum Guide versus Workplace Habits, the broken prep industry, the CertBase solution, and finally, how to master the exam free. All right, Section 1, the PSM I experience trap. Let's start with a really counterintuitive reality about this certification. I know, it sounds totally crazy, right? But here's the bizarre reality of the exam room. A total beginner who literally just read the guide yesterday will often score higher than a Scrum Master with 5 years of experience. Why? Because your real-world on-the-job experience is actually your biggest liability on test day. It's like muscle memory working against you. See, most companies don't practice pure Scrum. They practice a kind of hybrid, adapted version that fits their own corporate culture. So when an experienced pro sits down for the PSM I, they read a scenario and subconsciously pick the answer that represents what they did at work last Tuesday. And on the exam, that answer is almost always wrong. To really get why this happens, we have to look at what this exam actually is. The PSM I demands strict, uncompromising adherence to the literal text of the framework. It completely ignores how your specific company might, do agile. The certification honestly doesn't care if your team uses story points or Jira, or if your manager happens to run the daily stand-ups. It only cares about the pure, unmodified rules laid out in the official guide. Moving right along to Section 2, Scrum Guide versus Workplace Habits. Let's see how this creates a huge conflict when you sit down for the exam. Now, what's really fascinating here is the stark contrast between the daily habits you've built up at work and the rigid reality the exam expects. Workplace Agile is all about flexibility, right? It's about compromise to keep the business moving. But the Scrum Guide, it is an immutable framework. For example, at your job, maybe the product owner assigns tasks to the developers. In the real world, that happens all the time. But in the Scrum Guide, no way. The developers are completely self-managing. If you answer based on that workplace myth, you lose points. You have to aggressively unlearn your day job to pass this test. Which brings us to Section 3, the broken prep industry. When you realize you need to fix this knowledge gap, you usually run into a pretty big wall. To unlearn those bad habits, you absolutely need practice questions. But out there, you're usually forced to choose between two completely terrible options. First up, you've got dump sites. These just hand you massive lists of questions, but with zero explanations. You just end up memorizing that the answer to question 4 is C without actually understanding the why. And then you have the paywalled platforms. These sites lure you in with a couple of free questions, and then, bam, they hit you with a hard paywall, demanding your credit card before you can actually learn anything useful. And guys, it is not cheap. Competitors typically charge around 29 euros a month just to let you practice. Think about it. If you're trying to upskill, maybe change careers, or land a new role, getting hit with a 30 euro monthly subscription just to take practice quizzes, it's incredibly frustrating. Studying for an IT certification absolutely shouldn't cost you 29 euros a month. Luckily, there's a better way. Section 4, the CertBase solution. Let's look at how to master this without opening your wallet. Enter CertBase. This is a completely free platform built from the ground up around real exam-style questions. But unlike those dump sites we talked about, CertBase focuses heavily on written explanations. It's designed specifically for self-learners who actually want to understand the core concepts of frameworks like the Scrum Guide, rather than just rotely memorizing letters to scrape by on a test. Here's exactly what you're getting here. First off, it's 100% free forever. No credit cards, no nonsense. And most importantly for the PSM I, you get a detailed explanation for every single answer. You learn exactly why an answer is correct according to the Scrum Guide and exactly why the others are wrong. Plus, there's a quiz mode that mimics the official exam's pacing, automatic tracking for your wrong answers so you can actually see your weak spots, and even a community discussion thread on every question where peers can help you spot those tricky exam traps. Let's wrap it up with Section 5, Master the Exam Free. Here is how you actually use this tool to guarantee that passing score. By following this exact 3-step study loop, you can actively unlearn your real-world biases. Step 1, use study mode. Take your time, answer a question, and immediately read the reasoning. Really let it click. Step 2, review your tracked wrong answers. The platform automatically saves what you miss, so right before exam day, you're only practicing your actual gaps. And Step 3, use quiz mode. Run a timed, exam-like simulation with no explanations until the very end. This builds up your endurance and proves you're really ready for the real thing. And the best part? You get to do all of this in a clean, modern, totally distraction-free environment. It actually looks and feels like a professional developer tool. Dark, calm, technical. You won't find any heavy gradients, no annoying pop-up ads trying to upsell you, no flashy cartoons. It's just a focused space for you to get in, understand the material, and get out certified. So I'll leave you with this question. Are you going to keep shelling out 29 euros a month for the privilege of memorizing letters? Or are you ready to actually master the Scrum Guide? The absolute key to the PSM I is leaving your workplace experience at the door and fully internalizing the official framework. You need practice to do that, for sure, but that practice shouldn't come with a monthly subscription. Head over to CertBase.pro today, dive into those explanations, and go past your exam. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.